Hey guys, what's going on? It's Justice from the Newbury Report, and today we're looking at a new episode. And I wanted to start off by saying I do apologize for the clips that are in this video, the Madden footage. They're both kind of short, but I've never actually put two wins together in one video. One of them was my peer conceded the game, so I mean it doesn't really count. But I just wanted enough footage, and I guess I'm deciding to put actual games on instead of me just doing draft champions against the computer because it's a little more interesting. It's a little harder to get footage, but sometimes you'll play a game for 2 minutes and someone will concede. Sometimes, you'll concede, I'll concede because I get frustrated or something. So it is a little difficult. But I feel like it makes the quality actually a little bit better. So with that said, I'm also trying something new with my mic. So hopefully that makes a difference. Let me know if you guys notice a difference or you think I should put it back because I'm really liking how much more it sounds a little bit more clear and crisp the way I'm doing it right now. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about. Boston Celtics beating the Cleveland Cavaliers by 25 points. I did not expect that. As you guys know, I've kind of been counting out my own team since the Philly series, since before the Philly series even started. And for that, I do apologize. Celtics Nation, I do apologize. I think that I was so convinced that the Boston Bruins would be the, besides the Patriots, kind of team that'd be in the finals this year. I was so convinced with our young talent that we'd be there. But, injuries and, a lot of other things and, chemistry on our second line and stuff just really prevented us from being there. But, I'm really surprised by that. I mean, I think, I really am digging the whole vibe that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Terry Rozier are throwing out, the whole no fear vibe. I'm really liking that. I think it was a really good push for momentum. And, I'm not too excited yet. I'm not going to sit here and act like we won the conference finals yet because I still got to win 3 more games. So if we win tonight and we win in Cleveland, then I'll be a little bit more excited. But for right now, I've seen LeBron, and Bron's going to do Bron things. So I love that sentence. I love that saying. I'm really just cautiously optimistic right now about the entire thing. But goddamn, dude, our young guys are absolute studs. I think, I remember when we picked Jason Tatum, I was kind of on the Markelle Fultz hype train, and I was a little bummed. But I take back every sense of me being bummed about that, and I do apologize in regards to that. But the Houston Rockets are also on this list of the last 4 teams to talk about. I wanted to say a few things about that because I think the Houston Rockets loss upsets me a little bit because I think Chris Paul is a wonderful player, and Chris Paul, James Harden talks the other night and he goes, sometimes I'll be out and Chris Paul will text me and he'll say, hey man, you see what this guy's doing? You see how this guy's playing right now? And he'll text back like, hey Chris, I'm out. And it's kind of one of those funny moments, but in reality, it says a lot more about the two players on their own. You have Chris Paul, who is, studying film, who is studying his possible opponents. He's realizing this is my first time in the Western Conference Finals, and he's not taking it for granted. He realizes that the team he's on right now is probably better than any of the other teams he's been on. So with that said, he's got James Harden, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but is still having an MVP caliber season. They've got Clint Capella. They've got Gerald Green. And that's kind of, to be honest, that's really all I know on the Rockets roster off the top of my head. But, Gerald Green's a really good off the bench point guard. Is he a point guard? I think he is. I remember him in the time with the Celtics, and he has like part of his thumb or something cut off. He lost him. He's a kid. I don't know. That's really all I know about him. He's pretty funny, too. I've seen some of their press conferences before, and I think he's pretty funny. But, what it really says, in my opinion, is it's kind of like, you got someone like Chris Paul who's, again, studying film and is really, studying his opponents, and then James Harden who's kind of just out. And, while I understand basketball and especially playoff basketball is very mentally and physically exhausting, and, man, it's a really long season. Like, think about it. It started in October. There's 82 games just in the regular season. And, here we are in the postseason, and they're the third round of the playoffs. And, I don't blame them for being a little tired. And if James Harden wants to go out for a night, that's fine. But it's, it does show when they do lose, where it's like Chris Paul, who was studying film, is saying to James Harden, hey, I've been studying film, and James Harden isn't. It shows the dedication, in my opinion, what kind of player they are. So I think that's a little upsetting. If I was Chris Paul, I'd be pretty upset about that. There's nothing more frustrating than playing on a team and not having everybody kind of be together and want a dedication, I guess. So that's all I gotta say. I'm hoping Shane Larkin is speedy recovery and he comes back in. I don't really know what to kind of change up the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to do. I'm thinking they're going to switch up Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love guard, try to make that a little bit more difficult because Kevin Love was on fire before this series. But, this whole thing about Cleveland's shots just not landing and not being lucky. I'm pretty sure like the percentage was, it was like almost 87% of them were contested. So it wasn't just like, oh man, like he shot and he didn't make it. Like they were just having an off night. Like they were contested. We were playing hard defense. But again, I really do look forward to see what we bring tonight. And obviously in the next episode, we will be talking about that. So I look forward to, talking about that and, just really watching tonight's game. I was pleasantly surprised the other day. I was sitting there and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to wait till the game's over because this is Braun. And Braun, again, is going to do Braun things. I love LeBron James. I probably shouldn't just because of, the whole past with the Celtics and everything. But I really don't mind LeBron James. I really like his story. I like his humanitarianism. I love his shoes. I have 2 pairs of his shoes. I think they're nice looking and they're really fun to use for basketball, like the ankle support and everything on them. I'm not a sneakerhead, so I do apologize. I don't have too much to say. I can't really talk in depth about that. Now let's go to the NHL. Let's talk about the NHL a little bit here. The Capitals are 2-0 against the Lightning, and I fucking love this because I like Alex Ovechkin, and in retrospect, if they make it, I really wouldn't mind seeing Alex Ovechkin hoist the cup. The Golden Knights do have that kind of story behind them, the underdogs. Like no one expected them to be that good. On paper they shouldn't be, but I don't know. I don't really have that connection to them. I don't really have the whole strong, where, I want to root for them. Like last year I rooted for the Predators, and the year before that I rooted for the Sharks just because they're from California, and I do think Sidney Crosby is kind of a crybaby. Which, side note, I think it's really interesting when Pittsburgh fans, like Steelers fans, will call Tom Brady a crybaby, and then they'll openly wear a Sidney Crosby jersey. I think that's kind of a contradiction. It's like saying, yeah, dude, I forgot his name. He's the guy in the Ravens who, he was almost convicted for murder. Like, oh yeah, fuck him, dude. And like, as you're wearing an Aaron Hernandez jersey, it's like, look at what you're wearing. Like research the player that you're wearing before, But I don't know. I don't think anyone would wear an Aaron Hernandez jersey. I looked at the prices of them on eBay just for fun. And they're like $250, which is weird because, the Patriots, back when all that went down, they actually had an open jersey trade where you brought your Aaron Hernandez jersey and you were actually able to trade it for any jersey you wanted. So it's kind of weird, I guess. I guess like people still keep it for the, rarity of it, but it's just kind of weird that people would, I guess, keep it. Yeah, I wouldn't buy it for $250. I would even buy it for $100. I wouldn't buy it for $50. I'm a jersey collector and I wouldn't do that. Bad history to it. Bad history to it. But back to the NHL. I am so happy that the Capitals have a 2-0 lead against the Lightning. I fucking hate the Lightning. I think their whole stadium, and I'm happy it's kind of finally catching heat, is where it's like, if you have the box seats, you can't wear a Capitals jersey in there. And the whole concept is, on paper, the concept is not bad for a Lightning fan, where it's like, we're doing this to try to preserve the best seats for the Lightning fans. But at the same time, it's kind of, that's not really the spirit of sports, in my opinion. It's kind of just like, yeah, you can't wear that jersey up there. Sorry. Like, let people buy the tickets to where they want to buy the tickets. If someone wants to spend, I have no idea how much a box seat ticket is, but I'm assuming it's in at least the thousands. If someone wants to buy a box seat luxury ticket and they want to spend that money to watch their team play in, a nice environment of the box seat, why the fuck not? Let them, let them spend their money. Tampa's not really a hockey town anyways. This isn't like you're in Pittsburgh, Detroit, or Boston. It's not, or Chicago, excuse me. Chicago recently when they started winning. No, you know what I mean though. Like these aren't hockey towns. This isn't a hockey town. Tampa is not. So so then be like, oh, we're saving the best seats for last. Like as if like it regularly sells out. Like I don't believe it. I it could, but I don't really see them actually selling out. But that's just I guess how I see it. Obviously the series isn't over. We saw the Boston Bruins go up 2-0 and then have to force it to a Game 7 against Toronto. So I'm not counting out the Lightning yet. I'm kind of hoping they are though. But man, these losses are pretty big deficits. The first game is 4-2, and I didn't actually watch that game, so I'm assuming that it was 3-2, and the last goal was a empty netter, and then the second game was 6-2. So there's some pretty big deficits there. But we did also see the Bruins win 6-2 and then lose the next 3 or 4, excuse me. So That's all I got to say about that. I'm still a little salty about that. The Jets and Golden Knights are tied 1-1. Which is kind of a big deal, I guess, because the Golden Knights then have home field advantage for the next 2 games. This is kind of a lesser of two evils. I mean, the Golden Knights, I have no reason to hate them. I have no reason at all to dislike them. So, in a sense, I would not mind if they made it to the Stanley Cup. But, then there's the Lightning and the Capitals, and obviously, ideally, I'd want a Capitals Golden Knights Cup. I hate both those fucking teams. I hate the Jets and the Lightning, so it's kind of like. I guess that's the lesser of two evils, to use that phrase again, literally less than 5 minutes later. But I'd rather see the Golden Knights versus the Capitals. I think the Golden Knights would be an interesting series for the Stanley Cup. And I've talked to a friend of mine, and I've said that, like, if the Golden Knights make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, we are going to go buy tickets and go to Vegas. But Vegas is about 6 hours away from here by driving, so it's not really that bad of a deal. And stay Vegas Saturday night. Why not? We'll just go see Vegas. And we've talked about going to the Summer League too. So, I mean, if we do either of those things, there's obviously going to be footage. We've actually been debating doing like vlogs and stuff, or not necessarily vlogs, but just videos. So we'll have to see about that in the future. So lastly, I do want to talk about recent Patriot signings, as we did just sign a new punter. His name's Corey. I cannot pronounce his last name. Please forgive me. I believe he's from New Mexico. And I think anyone who really, watched this whole season can say that, punters aren't really easy to watch. Not like they're hard to watch. Like, it's a hard thing to do. But, most people don't really pay attention. It's not just like, oh, well, his punting form, unless you're Pat McAfee, the GOAT. But, Ryan Allen has really regressed this year. I believe like halfway through the season, they brought in someone else to kind of compete with him to make him play better. But he's really been pretty awful this year. So to bring in someone else really doesn't surprise me. They're also a little bit cheaper, if I'm not mistaken. Punters are pretty disposable, as in, they can play for like 4 or 5 years and you can kind of get rid of them. But, you can just draft another one. But, I really do. Like, it's mainly like that. But, Ryan Allen really isn't that good. So to get rid of Ryan Allen isn't the biggest deal. That's the first Allen that I want to get rid of on the roster, Dwayne Allen. We also signed 9 undrafted rookies. And the one that I'm most excited for on this entire list is Trent Harris. He's a defensive end from Miami. I really like Trent Harris, and I think that he's a really good pickup for us. As our defensive end depth currently at the moment is Derek Rivers, Dietrich Wise, either Marquise or Trey Flowers. I actually get them confused all the time, but one of the Flowers, so Dietrich Wise, Derek Rivers, and Flowers. So that's, we've got 3 kind of all right guys through our defensive end depth, and we also got Adrian Claiborne, who we haven't really seen yet. We also got, Darren Andrews, who's a wide receiver out of UCLA. Chris Lacey out of Oklahoma State. He's a wide receiver, and I think he's also played running back. I don't know. That's what it says on his thing. We got defensive tackle John Atkins, who I'm not really sure how he fits in the defensive chart, because, maybe he's just depth, because we got Malcolm Brown and Danny Shelton right now. So Malcolm Brown is a bona fide. He's not stellar, but I think he's pretty good right now. Obviously we rolled with him over Alan Branch, because Alan Branch did regress a lot this season. We got Frank Herron out of LSU, and then we have defensive backs J.C. Jackson from Maryland, A.G. Moore out of Mississippi, and he's a defensive back as well. And then we have running back Ralph Webb and tight end Shane Women. So I have much film on Shane Women, but in my opinion, in the tight end defensive chart, or depth chart, I think Ryan Izzo is going to win the spot. Jacob Hollister, again, as I've stated before, just didn't really have that chemistry with Brady. He had like 1 catch this entire season, and it was like during the Panthers game that we lost, and he like hit really hard. But Dwayne Allen just doesn't have the hands, and him and Brady just don't have that chemistry. And who knows, this camp he might build it up again or something like that. But in retrospect, I think Ryan Izzo is better at blocking, and I think he has better hands than Dwayne Allen after film that I've watched. So I think putting him there is a cheaper alternative, and shedding Dwayne Allen's contract, because that's like $6 million, I believe, $6 or $4 million, that we immediately save in cap space. And then it also is a better roster spot, because if he has hands, he's another weapon. He's another weapon rather than Dwayne Allen. It's like, yeah, Brady, if you're going to throw it to him, there's like a 10% chance he's actually going to catch it. Dwayne Allen really isn't that good. And defensive, Landon Roberts is a linebacker. I'm hoping we cut. That dude's fucking garbage. So I'm hoping he doesn't make the final roster. I guess these are the players I don't want to make the roster. Cyrus Jones, I think that he's garbage, and who knows, he might come back and prove us all wrong. But right now, I just don't have much faith in him. So I would not mind seeing Cyrus Jones be cut. I also was really surprised to see that we offered Danny Etling a long contract, because he was one of the most questionable picks within the draft for us, because I really thought we were going to pick up Kyle Luetta. And I thought that was going to be our guy. I thought that was going to be our late 4th round pick guy, who's going to be the Tom's backup, because I think Brian Hoyer is obviously a little bit more expensive than Danny Etling. So I don't know. I mean, I think Brian Hoyer can easily beat Danny Etling with obviously his veteran experience, and he has started for a team before. I think he can beat off. Excuse me. I think he can take Etling's spot in the depth chart if we do plan to roll 2 quarterbacks rather than 3 quarterbacks. We rolled 3 quarterbacks for Super Bowl 51 2016 season. I think that was primarily just because Tom is out 4 games, and we wanted to have that depth backup in case Jimmy Garoppolo went out. But I don't really see us rolling with 3 quarterbacks again. So maybe Danny Etling beats Brian Hoyer in that spot. So I can see that. But Cyrus Jones, Landon Roberts, and Jordan Richards and Dwayne Allen can all get cut. I don't mind at all. I'm fine with that. So that's really what I got to say soon. I'm really excited for camp to start in a few months for the Patriots, and I'm really excited for tonight's game against Cleveland. The Red Sox are doing red hot. I'll be honest, I'm going to start podcasting and talking a little bit more about the Red Sox as soon as the NBA playoffs are kind of over, because right now I am just so focused on the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. I got to start watching the NHL playoffs again. I haven't really watched, as I don't really like Tampa or the Jets, so it's hard to watch a game for them. But that's really all I got to say. We'll start, again, talking about that soon. And I know that I've said in the last, 4 episodes that my host, Ben, is going to come back. I'm hanging out with him Thursday, and I will be sure to record something with him as we're kind of back in the loop of hanging out regularly again. So we'll definitely do something. We'll definitely talk. And obviously, everything I've said about the videos and everything coming in later about the actual, filmed camera podcasts that we're talking about, kind of like with the NBA style that Shaq and Charles Barkley do. That's obviously all in the works too. We're all currently in the midst of finals, so I think after finals are over, we kind of will have a lot more time to talk about all this and to do all this. So it's currently just a work in progress. In case you haven't seen either, we are uploading every Tuesday and Thursday, so that's kind of our schedule now. It took a while to get everything kind of together and get everything set up. If you look at the upload dates from the very first episode with me and Ben to the second episode, it is a long change. But we've been doing a lot of work on the channel, trying to make it the best we can. I just want to state, lastly, thank you guys so much for checking us out. I'm sorry this is a pretty long outro. I just kind of have a lot of updates and stuff to talk about. We're thinking about doing a giveaway. As I stated, we're either going to give away we're going to do 2, one for just the Celtics fan base, and I guess anyone else who'd want to enter. But a Scary Terry shirt from Barstool Sports. I'll put the link in the description just in case you want to check it out and see what it is. And then we're also probably going to wind up doing a MLB or NBA jersey giveaway from your select team and something like that. And then maybe we'll copy Total Pro Sports and do a Madden or 2K giveaway like they did last year. But we'll see. All talks, a work in progress. Thank you guys for checking us out. I really do appreciate the views you've been getting. They've been stipulating, but I am, again, very happy with them. So thank you guys again. Check us out on Twitter. Send Ben any best wishes just because he's a cool fucking dude. Check out his photography. It will be linked below as well. He's a really good photographer. Looking forward to see you guys next Thursday. Thanks again for checking us out. Take care.